understand the impact in terms of healthcare and pharma from here on. We have Shobhana Kamineni, Executive Chairperson at Apollo Health, joining in. Welcome to the show, ma'am. My first question coming to you is, overall, if you have to look at the GST reforms that have come in, the rationalization that you're looking at as well, what are your initial comments in terms of the reaction?
I now really think GST stands for good and simple tax.
Nice.
And that was, I was there in Parliament, at 12 o'clock midnight when it was introduced as CI, when I was CII president. And the run up to that, we did so much work. And again, it was quite confusing with so many different rates. And within the rates, the different, how it got classified. I think this was a master stroke. Basically, after all those dark clouds we've been seeing with regard to trade, external, international trade, suddenly, India has doubled down on Viksit Bharat. It was a Viksit Bharat to say that internal consumption is something that will drive us to the number 3 economy in the world very soon. And this move was quite brilliant.
Shobhana ma'am, hi, Tamanna here, and just, so happy to speak to you today on what is a very, very important day. In terms of the business, can you help us understand what gets cheaper from your perspective? And do you see this translating into volume growth for you, higher demand? How do you see it translating in your case specifically for your company?
So 2 areas that I work in. First is the pharma retail and distribution. So this going down to 5%, and I can tell you, I've just been assessing from the morning how much work it's going to take. So I have something like 1.2 crore lines in our retail pharmacy that I have to reclassify. And so there's a lot of work behind it. But one thing, I think this is actually good work. Work we'll be happy to do because it'll translate into the customers getting medicines cheaper. And for the life-saving medicines that are in our hospital, making it free, like the cancer drugs, I really think that's a very humanitarian step. So from a healthcare perspective, hospital perspective, it's a lot of work for us, but we do think that it'll really help the customer because the prices will go down. And the second part of it, in terms of consumption, I think people buy medicine because they need it. But what it does is it gives them the dignity that more people are able to afford it. So, you will not hesitate to take that expensive cancer medication or, keep compliance with the NCD drugs that you need every month because it actually comes down from 12%. Now it's 5%. So it's a good benefit. How much we will get translated. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done. So we are hoping in the next 2 days, they'll give us more clarity. The second area we work on is insurance. And removing GST on life and health was just the best move you can do. Because first, it didn't really make sense because on health expenditure, there's no GST. So if you bought a policy, it's actually negative for you. You're paying more. Now, when you remove it, I think this will give rise to way more insurance coverage, and that's good for the country. So on 2 counts of medicine and insurance, I think what has happened today is something that the country should be feeling so good about.
On insurance, ma'am, I just want to get your view on the input tax credit, which is not there right now. And you're seeing, we've been speaking to, of course, insurers as well since morning. They will, of course, pass on all of the benefit. But do you think that this is going to be a bit of a pain point for some time, at least temporarily?
So this really is for hospitals because we don't get any input tax credit because healthcare is free. So that's what we've been kind of really, from the hospitals and the diagnostic centers and all we've been actually saying, give us that also. So I'm hoping that in the, when the fine print comes out, if some of the taxes that we pay, that we get the GST credit, if we can actually set it off, that'll be a great boon for hospitals. With regard to the insurance companies, I think this has been a long ask that there's no GST on this. So especially for health. So I'm happy that they did this. I agree that it'll be tough for commissions when they pay it and they have to pay GST. But at the end of the day, I think it'll translate to more coverage. There'll be more people who can afford healthcare, outpatient insurance. All these, you're going to start to get new products.
Ma'am, so if you have to look at the overall business from pharmacy, diagnostics to digital health, the overall influence in terms of the business and the kind of cost saves that you will see and margin benefits, what is that ballpark that you're looking at?
So it's a fairly large figure. Like we ourselves do about 15,000 crores of retail sales, of which about 8,000 is just medicines in our 6,700 pharmacies. So if we can pass down almost 5% to the customers on a lot of these drugs, I think it's significant. And we are just, remember, we're only 7% of the market. Now just think how this would extrapolate out into the full market for drugs. So I believe this is a big step for the consumer. And for the insurer, I think that really what our insurance companies have struggled with is for more people to get covered by insurance, because the cost of the policies were so high. And I think this rationalization, of course, the input credit is a tough one. Maybe that'll get they'll be able to solve for that. But I think more people coming into the insurance coverage is actually a good thing for India.
All right. So I think the benefits that you can pass on and the benefits that you would see as a company as well are going to be quite large from here on. But thank you so much for joining us on the show and sharing all the views.